Hello everyone, my name's Tomco, and today I'm showing you how to make a realistic elevator. The best one as well. So here we have a closed door. Obviously the elevator is not here, it is in fact on the second floor, all the way up there. But to get it, all you have to do is press this button and the elevator will crawl down towards you. Just look at this thing go. It looks like a UFO or alien spaceship. And bam, the door's open. Once the door's open, you can just walk in through, you know, there's quite a bit of space in there, you can do whatever you want. And when you're ready to go up, hit the button again and the elevator will make its way upwards. If we take a look around the cabin, as you can see, no flying machine, no redstone or anything is visible. All these four walls can be wherever you want them to be. And we make it to the top. Very nice. Look at this view. And by the way, it works vice versa. If the elevator is on the bottom and you're at the top, you can call the elevator from the bottom up to the top and it'll work just fine. Honestly, this thing is sick. And of course, we can always just go back down again. Right, close your eyes because we're about to look at the redstone. Only joking, this thing is actually alright. The main complicated thing is the actual fly machine itself, and you only have to build that once. And so to build it, this is everything you're going to need. Now bear in mind, I have left a few things out, of course, including decorated blocks and your actual building blocks, because you can provide yourself with them things. And also what I haven't included is the redstone used to connect these floors together. See these observers here? This is the call function. So basically you just have to have a signal going from the bottom to the top and the top to the bottom, and that's what these observers are for. However, you can do this in many different ways. For example, over here, I've used redstone torches going both up and downwards because they're cheaper. And since everybody's going to have a different height of how tall you make your elevator, I'm not including this in the item list. So you're going to have to provide yourself with some sort of either redstone torches, observers, either dust. Just make it so you have enough materials so you can connect your two floors together twice as well. And by the way, you're going to need a 9 blocks long by 7 blocks wide area, which if you couldn't tell is this area just here. And by the way, the gold blocks up, this directly represents the actual door. So them gold blocks, they represent this 6 blocks of glass here. And this, if you didn't know, is 4 blocks above the ground. So I suggest you get that in place. And by the way, you're also going to need 4 blocks of empty space above your second floor, which I just have up here. You can see it better in here. You need 4 blocks below your door, 4 blocks above your door. And once you have all that in place, we can start the tutorial. Alright, so the very first thing we're going to be working on is the actual button bit for the bottom floor. So go around to your bottom floor, you can leave the top floor up there for the time being. We'll just place a block on the bottom left side of your door, another block to the left, and this is going to be your button block. So you can have your button anywhere on this block, either on the right or on the front. I prefer mine to be on the front though. Stick your piston below this block, with an observer going towards your door. Block in front of it, block below it, destroy this block. 1, 2, 3 blocks in front of it like this. 2 pieces of dust with a repeater just like that. This needs to be set to 1 tick, by the way. That's important. A block up, block down, 2 blocks to the right, then 3 blocks to the left, just like that. And then run your redstone dust along all of that. And by the way, this is what sets your fly machine to go upwards. So if we were to hit this, all of this line will flash and then that will tell the fly machine to go up. You want to get 2 pieces of obsidian out, and either end you want to place an obsidian block here, and then an obsidian block on this side just like so. And now we're going to build the actual flying machine. I promise you it's not as bad as it seems. So I'm going to be working on the right first, and then you can just literally mirror it to the left. So you want to place a slime block here, slime block here, 1, 2, 3, 4 slime blocks just like that. So it's like a giant L. Piston out the front of it, and then piston next to this repeater. Placing 2 temporary blocks here, 1 block on this one, and then slime block on this other one. This is very important, you use honey and slime. You want to come round to the underneath, and place a block of redstone just there. Come back round to this redstone dust, observer, piston going towards the left, observer with a sticky piston on top of it just like so. 1, 2, 3, 4 slime, 2 more slime blocks to the left. You want to exactly mirror this, what you did down here, but on the upside. So piston, piston, 2 temporary blocks, honey on this side, slime on this side, no, slime on this side, and then a block of redstone just like so. Then to come back round to the top, you want to place an observer going directly into this slime block, with a piston below it. So this observer detects this piston. Observer with a sticky piston facing downwards. And that is actually the fly machine done. So you actually want to get yourself a bit of obsidian and place it on the top of this just to stop it from moving. Because you don't want it to set off whilst you're building it, because that could make a huge mess. And I would laugh at you hysterically. Alright, so now we're going to make the actual elevator shaft. And to do that, all you have to do 2 blocks here, this is your floor. These are going to be your wall blocks, and this will be 1/2 of your ceiling blocks. So as you see, we have directly made a half of our elevator here. Now all we have to do is to mirror this on the other side. So I'm just going to speed walk through this. 2 slime, piston, piston. 2 temporary blocks, slime on this side, honey on this side, destroy them 2 blocks, block of redstone on the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4 slime, observer, piston, observer, sticky piston. 4 slime blocks on top of this, 2 slime blocks here, piston, piston, 2 temporary blocks, 2 slime blocks, honey block there, redstone block there. Come around over here, observer, piston facing this way on the other side, observer, sticky piston, solid block, your wall, and then your ceiling. Obviously I did that very quick, but to be fair, it's not that hard to mirror it. Oh, and you forgot your obsidian block at the top. Like I was saying, it's not hard to mirror it, so take your time when doing it. Make sure to not make any mistakes. Now you can go ahead and remove your temporary door blocks because we're going to make the actual door. So you want to come round to here. You want to put a redstone block at the end of this slime with a regular piston facing towards the elevator. Get yourself a redstone torch, some blocks, and your dust. Torch on top of this piston, dust, sticky piston there. Then place, did I just say sticky piston? I meant redstone dust. Then place your 3 sticky pistons like this and replicate that on the other side. So block, regular piston going that way, torch, block, dust, 3 sticky pistons, just like that. Now you're going to get your door block. I'm just going to be using some glass because you can actually see through it and it looks quite cool. We can use whatever block you want for this. That's most of the actual bottom bit all done, so we can move on to the top floor now. The very first thing we want to do is to replicate what we have here with the obsidian just at the top floor. So what you want to do, move all the way to the top. 1, 2, 3, 4 temporary blocks just like so. 1, 2, 3 temporary blocks. And then what you have to, ooh. And then you want to go 1 block to the right over here. 2 blocks to the left over here. Obsidian over here. And obsidian over here. We can now go ahead and remove all these temporary blocks. You can actually remove the obsidian on the top of this flying machine just like so. So now what you can also do is press a button and test this thing for the very first time. So it should just set off like this and the door should close. And we can watch it fly up. So it should stop perfectly where these gold block doors are here. There we go. So now we're just going to be doing what we've already done down there, but up here. So once again, you want to get your button block in. But instead of the sticky piston going downwards, we want it to go to the left. So sticky piston there. Observer. 2 blocks in front of this. A block down to the left. Get your redstone repeater. Repeater. With blocks along this, going all the way to the left, and it should be sticking 1 block out. This is just so we can actually wire around this elevator. Get your dust, and place dust along all of these blocks just like so. Then go a block to the left, with dust on top of it. Get one of your glazed terracotta blocks, and come a block down, with dust on top of it there. And then come a block down again, and another block down just like so. Put dust along both of these blocks. Then place a block on top of this, dust on top of that. Then get your half slab out, place it to the right, with dust on top of that. So it looks something like this. You want to place your target block just directly next to this redstone dust here. The redstone dust should curve into it. Redstone torch, block, with another redstone torch, another block. I'm going to place a glazed terracotta block to the right of this redstone torch. A regular block to the left, with another glazed terracotta block just to the left. Just along all of them. We can now get our doors in for the top floor. This is the exact same what we did on the bottom, by the way. So we can first get rid of all these gold blocks. Piston next to this redstone block. Torch, block, dust. And then 3 sticky pistons just going up just like so. And replicate that on the other side. So piston, torch, block, dust. 3 sticky pistons. And then I'm going to get my glass and just cover these sides like so. And now we can actually send it back down if you wanted to, just to test that it does work. And there we go. As you can see, it does in fact work. By the way, if your flying machine isn't moving, check that it's not touching any regular blocks. As you can see I have over here, every time the flying machine comes in contact with a block, it's already glazed terracotta, and that's because the glazed terracotta doesn't stick to slime block. It's the same with the obsidian or bedrock, but just double check that if you're building this on the ground, it doesn't collide with the walls. So now we're going to actually make in the core system. So the very first thing you want to do is place dust on top of this block, just to the right, and that separates it. And how this will work, you want to connect this redstone dust up here. That needs to connect to this target block up here. And this line of redstone over here, this needs to connect to the bottom line of redstone over here. And we can trigger this in many different ways. For example, I've used observers over here, but I've used redstone torches over here because it's cheaper. But I'm going to be showing you how you do it with observers, just because it's way simpler. To do it with these observers, it's very simple. All you really have to do, just on top of this, then the line of observers going all the way up until you reach the target block, then directly connect it to this target block. And if you're going down, you want to place a block here, just on that, observer going down, and carry on this line going downwards until you get to the very bottom redstone line. Then put a block here, and that was that. And that should be all the redstone done. So we already know that if we click the button on this floor, it will go up, but we don't know about this floor. So that if we try it out on this floor, it should call upwards. Which it does, there we go. And now that it's reached the top, we can try and call it downwards from the bottom floor. So if you press this button, it should come down. There we go. And so now all that's left for you to do is to decorate this thing. The very first thing you want to do is add a back to this elevator, because right now it's looking pretty backless, and you do this by literally adding a wall of blocks just to the back like so. You can use any blocks for this. I'm using iron. We now have a wall to the back of our elevator. I'm also going to be adding a glass front to my elevator, just because I think it looks cool. However, this is where it gets difficult now, because if you were to add a wall to the left or right, this has to be a block which doesn't stick to slime. So like I said before, you can either use obsidian or glazed terracotta, or in the case I used over here, I even use shulker boxes. Obviously, if you're in survival, I wouldn't recommend it, but in creative, these are a pretty good looking non-sticky block. And obviously, your main wall is actually going to be in front of this thing anyway, so you won't even have to see it much. Because the actual wall of your elevator is here, as the glass is one block set back. You then also want to add a floor to your second floor, by the way. This is pretty important. Then add a wall to your second floor. I'm just rushing it, but obviously I would hope you put more effort into this thing. And a floor. This is actually quite important. And you would also have to use non-sticky blocks here. And if you're building around it like this, and even on the back side here, this block would have to be non-sticky blocks. But other than that, you can do anything you want. Now let's try it out for one last time. We press the button, we get in the elevator, and we set off. See, it all looks way better now that we've decorated it. And it's even got a wall in place, which is looking snazzy. And then we will get to the top. Oop, missed a block there. And I missed the ceiling. But there we go. Anyways, that is the tutorial done. Thank you very much for watching. Any questions, please let me know down in the comments, and I'll try my best to answer them. But that's all from me, and I'll see you all later. Have fun with your new realistic elevator. Bye.